back in the car yet again. So today was actually, well, as I'm sure you know, since you know the order in which these workouts are, today was supposed to be a leg day, but I feel kind of fucking scrappy to the point where, or not just I feel scrappy, but I can tell my legs are still kind of fatigued and not in a way in which I'm like, whatever, we'll just push through it. So I'm not going to make it a rest day, of course. Whenever I think that I need an extra day and I kind of delay a lift, that's usually when I throw in some. I mean, all bodybuilding workouts are, in a sense, accessory work, right? You're just hitting every muscle group directly. So I guess you can almost say it's all accessory work, but none of it's accessory work. Well, I guess if you're a power lifter, you'd say it's all accessory work. But on days where I want to delay a lift, like let's say today was supposed to be a chest day, but I could still kind of tell I'm kind of sore from the last chest day. Same thing with anything. Usually my sort of, let's just say, protocol is push that lift back a day and do a smallish muscle group, or, could just do a rest day. But I'm not really in the mood for an actual straight up rest day. Not that I ever am, but I feel good. It's just I can tell a leg day right now would probably not be awesome. So doing legs tomorrow, after another good night's rest and a bunch of food, I think it'll be better for me. That's something which I've kind of, well, I'm not going to say it's necessarily, well, yeah, I would say it is better. When I was an earlier lifter, I was a bit more boneheaded in my approach, where it's like, I don't care if my legs are still sore from the last leg day, I'm still just going to hit them regardless, or, whatever else. Like, if I feel like total shit, hit the lift. And in a way, I mean, I still do feel that way. Of course, I'm still going to go to the gym any means necessary, barring, crazy fucking sickness or just unfortunate scheduling conflicts. But as I've evolved as a lifter over the past few years, I think I've gotten a little bit of a better grasp on the fact that, some days pushing off a lift for another day, adding a rest day, it is beneficial if necessary, right? Now, taking rest days just every week on a pre-programmed amount, well, I haven't done it this whole time. Beginner lifter 5-ish years ago, a little more than 5 years ago to now. Never been a huge rest day fan, but I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying I haven't done them. That's another thing which there's a few different styles of training that I need to at least try out, just because since I haven't really done it before, I could be missing out, right? And those two things are the two main things there are after that yawn, rest days on a consistent basis, like a rest day a week, a rest day maybe twice a week, see what happens, as well as, trying an actual bodybuilder diet, just straight up rice, chicken, purely filling up the tank with the basics, no treats. Right? Now, I'm a little bit less inclined to do that because, I mean, this whole time that I've been gaining muscle, that's the way I've kind of gone about it, So, in a sense, it's like if it works, it works. But I'm definitely not saying it's the best approach. I'm not saying I know what the best approach is per se. It's just something that I've been doing, which has been giving me results, so I don't really see a reason to completely hit the brakes and do a 180. But don't worry, I will do it eventually. I'm sure I'll have a few months of, actual bodybuilder bulk diet. Just not yet. I'm too attached to my treats. But since today's not going to be a leg day, what am I going to do instead? I think just shoulders and shoulders and forearms. I don't really hit shoulders on a super consistent basis because they're pretty developed, but I do throw them in every so often. I mean, it's not like they're ever going to shrink. so it's not necessarily for maintenance. Uh, Even if they're too big, I wouldn't mind if they get a little bit bigger from hitting them every, I don't know, maybe every other week, every week and a half or so. And then forearms, everybody can use bigger forearms, right? Out of, I can say this with certainty. You are not Lee Priest or Ramon, right? Your forearms are not absolutely freakish. So, every so often, I used to do forearms every arm day. I've kind of chilled out since they're relatively proportional now, but maybe I should add some more in. Who doesn't love having a big fucking meaty forearm? But my approach with forearms and shoulders has been pretty simple. And that may just be due to the fact that I've never really had a problem growing them with basic shit. All I'm going to do for shoulders is a variety of lateral raises and maybe reverse pec deck, maybe face pulls, whatever. Anything which I can feel my rear delts flex and I can really squeeze hard and load them up, I'm going to like. And then same thing with side delts, be it dumbbell lateral raises, cable, fucking machine lateral raises. You got to remember, no matter what movement you're doing, you got to break it down to its core component. All you're doing is going from here to here with load. So whichever machines you like doing, I say just spam them. And then same thing with forearms. I'm really not a believer in hitting your forearms like on back day. Like, oh well, I want bigger forearms, so I just won't use straps on back day. That'll be enough for me. Look, I can understand why people love saying that because a lot of really big dudes, I'm talking big ass bodybuilders, never train their forearms, and they're fucking huge. You also got to remember there's other things at play. But look, you got to look at it from your own perspective. Are your forearms, as big as you would like them to be? If they're not, then treat them like any other muscle group, and if you want them to grow, you got to hit them directly, right? If you want a bigger chest, what are you going to do? Right? You're going to hit it directly. Bench, flies, cable press. If you want bigger lats, pull downs. Right? So if you want bigger forearms, right, what do you got to do? Forearm curls. I usually like, well, I won't get into the specifics of it. We'll just talk about it when we do it later. But there's no reason to overcomplicate it. I think especially with smaller muscle groups, if you find a couple of movements which work and hit the targeted muscle that you're aiming for, then you don't really have to add too much variability, right? Chest, back, legs, they're a bit more complex. Chest, you got pressing and flying, right? Your back, you have pull downs, rows, and pullovers. Legs, squats, leg extensions, sissy squats. You can hit your quads in all sorts of different ways. But when it comes to like your triceps and your biceps, your shoulders, your forearms, what are you really doing? Biceps here, triceps here, forearms right there, and then for the back, something like that. So I'm not saying just do one movement for everything and just like spam it, but it might not be the absolute worst idea if those movements feel good. So this will be a quick lift. This is not going to be like, soul crushing. Really, I'm just trying to pump up the area, get a good amount of fatigue, and then go home and eat. In a way, with a smaller lift like this, I really do kind of consider it a rest day. Like the difference in overall systemic fatigue that my body's gonna feel from this, short just shoulder, and I'm not even hitting my whole shoulder. I'm just doing the side and rear delts. My front delts are big enough, so it's just side delts, rear delts, and forearms. The amount of fatigue my body is gonna feel from this is like, compared to a really hard leg day, honestly, maybe 20%, and that's, us. I mean, let's think about it. A seriously hard leg day, I'm probably fucking dying at the end of it. Whereas with this, yeah, I'd say only fucking 20%. So I don't think this is gonna hinder my quad recovery, my hamstring recovery for tomorrow's leg day, even one single fucking bit. So that's sort of my take there. But won't take long. Let's just get in there, throw the shit around, pose down, and roll. All right, I think shoulders, I'm just gonna fucking hit them like I've been hitting arms. Set aside delts. So more than likely, dumbbell lateral raises. I might do some cables, but hard to beat the fucking basics. So lateral raises, take a few minutes. Not a few minutes, but like a minute. Bend over, rear delt, sort of bent over lateral raises, and then just fucking repeat it. Okay. All right. Let's just keep running through these. So your rear delts, your rear delts, look, they're kind of a small muscle group for sure, but you can load them up. So with these bent over, rear delt biased lateral raises. So I mean, let's just think about this. You're standing upright, mainly side delt. You bend over, right? We're getting some rear delt action. But with these, I think you can load up a lot of weight. I'm just gonna do the 55s again, like I was doing on the laterals. Yeah. Okay. Not really any need for any more commentary. I think let's just repeat that loop fucking 3 more times. That might even be the whole workout, at least for shoulders. Okay. That might be too heavy. But yeah, let's just run these through. Fuck. You know, usually I kind of say that I like going lighter on side laterals, really just kind of going for a burn, but I don't know. I love the heavy sets too. As long as you go hard, I think you're doing something right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, fuck. Oh. Okay. Fuck. You know, I think one more back and forth So one more set of side laterals and one more set of these rear delt biased side laterals. Then we can check the pump. My shoulders already fucking feel huge. Okay, fuck. Okay. Let's finish with a set of reverse pectic instead of bent over dumbbell, but then we can check the shoulder pump. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, shoulders are fucking wrecked. Let's go see how they're looking. All right. So only fucking 4 sets for side delts and then 4 for rear. But in terms of the fucking PUMP, what do you think, man? I mean, fuck, dude, my shoulders are fucking already poking out of my shirt. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. So this is what I'm talking about. Why I'm really such an advocate of really fucking going after your rear delts. And it's because they can totally transform the way your shoulders look. Everybody has big front delts, right? Everybody that's the most muscular, their front delts are kind of jumping out. There's a little bit of separation from your front delt and your chest. But let's actually take a look and see how rear delts come into play, especially when they're fucking pumped beyond belief. Whew. I didn't have any tank tops at the house, so this was kind of a quick impromptu cut job. But here's what I'm talking about. So, dude, it just gives my shoulders such a fucking roundness. Obviously, they're pumped right now, so it's kind of extra crazy too. But like I was saying, in terms of the front most muscular, look, dude, obviously front delt's nuts, right? Like this, that's a big fucking chunk of meat. But the rear delts are just climbing above on the outside of my frame. Now that really looks fucking sweet. And then big ass rear delts, they just add to every fucking pose you do. Side chest, shoulder is completely fucking capped from the back. Same thing for, side tricep. Dude, my shoulders are so pumped I can't even really reach behind me for a good one. And then rear lat spread. Obviously I can't really see myself, but actually I kind of can. Yeah, dude, rear delts are fucking just jumping out of here. Oh, eesh. So I think I'm actually just going to call it at shoulders. I'll save forearms for another day. Because looking at my shoulders, I do see the benefit of having them fucking pumped up. Holy shit. I mean, this looks fucking badass. That's fucking killer. But forearms, I don't think they're too far behind at all. So I'll just leave them. Deposit a little bit of mass on the shoulders tonight when I go to sleep. And then tomorrow should be a freaky ass leg day. So let's fucking roll. Super quick one. A very rare shoulder day, but very good. Very stinking good. Now look, would it have killed me to just stay my ass at home and rest and do absolutely nothing? Probably not, right? But I'm a fucking nut. I can't not go. At least not if I, have the option. So, a good cheeky little shoulder day. Throw around a good amount of weight. Kind of an ego liftery few sets. But I don't know, man. I mean, any kind of set, you can sort of argue the benefits of whatever style you're doing for it. You know, and what I'm saying there is like, if I were to have just done, you know, 8 sets for side delts and rear delts, each of them being like a light, you know, squeezing set, 30-pound dumbbells, you know, burn out like that, you know, I would say, well, you know, shoulders is a small muscle group, so I don't need to hit it with that much weight. So, you know, I don't need to really throw around 8 reps. I can do sets of 20, you know, really get a good burn, and that'll be a good stimulus. But then, you know, I throw the 60s around, and even though that is heavy, like that's definitely the heavier end for me, I wasn't really swinging that much at all. You know, I think the upper limit of what you should be doing for lateral raises is going to be, you know, a bit under the weight where you'd have to really swing to move it around. Because I think that does defeat the purpose and you are going too heavy. But as long as you can actually do the reps, I think you're all right, man. I don't think you have any need for concern. But with a heavy set like that, you know, then I could say, well, you know, I got a lot of tension on my side delts. You know, I'm really doing some damage. I'm really burning out, getting a couple partials at the end, right? Very quick, intense set, lower-ish reps, you know, around 8 to 10. And that's a good set too. So it's, you know, you can kind of, and I'm not saying me, but I mean just anybody in general, fitness, you know, guru, bodybuilders talking about their workouts. A lot of this shit can be, you know, meandered into making sense. But, you know, I think if you kind of cut it down to the basics, then if you do hard sets, maybe you do some heavier, maybe you do some lighter squeezing, I think you're good. You know, I doubt I don't think that doing only one style of set of any variety is going to be like the best method, right? I mean, dudes are going to get big doing lighter squeezing weights, right? I mean, we know fucking people talking about Phil Heath where he's doing dumbbell curls with like 30s and he's doing like perfect form, everything. I mean, we see Nick Walker doing, you know, pretty controlled volume sets of like Bulgarian split squats, you know, every rep nice and clean, pretty light. I mean, light for him, of course, it's fucking a ton of weight, really squeezing, right? And then we see, you know, I'm trying to think of a character who's really moving some shit around. We see Larry Wheels, fucking freak, also super strong, throwing around a lot of weight. So I don't think you should really take any of those, you know, examples as like, okay, this is how to do it, and this is wrong. Right? I think you should just take it as, you know, a lot of different stuff works. So you should try a lot of different stuff and then see, you know, what works for you. If you're making zero progress, you got to change something about your training, diet, sleep routine. But if you are making progress, I mean, fuck it, man. Don't fix it if it ain't broke, you know? Now, that's actually not really my mentality. Even though I do make, you know, pretty good progress over time, I'm always trying to optimize and like think of new ways to do shit. And like, okay, I should probably, I mean, I keep talking about how I'm trying to change my leg training, how I'm trying to, you know, switch up the way I go by triceps. That's, you should always be trying to improve. But as long as you're making progress, then you can be kind of, you know, content with the fact that what you're doing is working. So you're in a better state than dudes who are fucking, you know, day in, day out doing a routine that they think is, you know, difficult and they're actually pushing themselves. But at the end of the day, whether they're not eating enough food or they're not recovering enough by, you know, having really shit sleep, or maybe their training is on the fucking lower end of intense, and all they're doing is just maintaining the build that they have, right? That is not an awesome state to be in, you know. There's and it kind of sucks because I think it's such a fine line. Like, it's not a massive difference to go from, you know, looking the same like months after months after months to, you know, just increasing your effort just a bit, you know, getting a couple extra calories in per day, maybe, you know, pushing a little bit harder on your progressive overload, doing some drop sets, just, you know, getting better sleep, right? Just a small difference can push you over the edge from just maintaining the build that you have to progressing, right, and getting a better one. Maybe not, you know, better, but, you know, maybe bigger, more muscle, leaner, less body fat, and whatever your goal is, right? So that's on you, man. That is on you. You got to remember, nobody gets anything out of telling you the perfect way to do this shit. Um, well, I guess that's I guess if you're a bodybuilding coach, then you do get something out of it. You get paid, but for the most part, nobody gives a shit whether you're making progress or not. So it's kind of up to you. It's in your hands, man. You got to remember, you are the one controlling your life, regardless of what you may think about how like other people are fucking with you or whatever. You're the captain of your own ship. So, as much as people love blaming circumstances or like, oh well, if it wasn't for this, then that is a fucking awful mentality to have. That is a loser mentality to have. Right? Any statement in sort of a regretful manner, which follows the lines of, well, if it wasn't for this, then blank. Or if this didn't happen, then... Look, right? Shit's gonna go down. Everybody has been, fucked up in some way or another. But the difference between, somebody who's a baller or somebody who's just kind of a chump is, the baller can look back at that sort of thing and, in a way, almost be grateful for it, Because if you're actually killing it, then you get to look back at your life, and if any detail that happened was off or was missing, you could be in a completely different fucking scenario, man. You could be like, well, I can't even tell you. You could be not killing it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say there. So if you're on top of your shit, you're doing whatever, you're making tangible moves, then you can kind of look back and say like, oh, well, if it wasn't for this, then, you can sort of say that in, I guess I got to kind of retract my statement. You can say, well, if it wasn't for this, then I wouldn't be where I am now. Right? But there's a difference between like, oh shit, if they didn't kick me off the team, then I never would have met this person, or I never would have started doing this. Right? That's cool. But if your mentality is, oh, well, if they didn't do that, then, they don't even know where I would be. Come on. Right? To blame past experiences and circumstances on, why you're not, doing what you want to be doing now. L mentality, right? You got to sort of circumvent that shit one way or another. So I think that's the end of my little rant, my little chit chat. So plan for tomorrow, legs. I'm not sure what gym I'll go to. The college rec center has 2 leg extensions, and one of them is broken. So I mean, you're kind of screwed if you're doing legs, because there can be like 5 people working in on that one leg extension. Not awesome. So maybe I'll go somewhere else. I mean, you gotta remember, I got a couple of gyms at my disposal. Not just for, well, yeah, I guess kind of just for fun. Right? Some gyms have different equipment, which some days I might want. Right? Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Planet Fitness, open 24-hour, whereas the College Rec Center closes at like, 10 some nights. So let's say I got to do a light lift, go over there. Stuff like that. So if you can swing it, having a couple different memberships is kind of fun. Plus, you get to see all like a completely different crew. Who doesn't love to socialize? But yeah, I don't know where I'll go. But no matter where, the lift will consist of a few key attributes. Obviously, a good-ass hamstring pump, just from, leg curls, maybe some RDLs. And then quads is going to be made up of leg extensions, some kind of pressing. I'm not exactly sure what kind. I think my back is still a little bit tender. Not to like the point of serious injury, but like minor tweak, which I definitely don't want to, exacerbate by actually fucking, rip it into again. So if I do some squats and I can tell I'm still feeling a little something something, I'll just back off, maybe do some kind of leg press or something. But leg extensions, definitely some sissy squats toward the end, and then whatever that meat in the middle of quads ends up being, I know for a fact it's all going to add up to a nice and freaky leg pump. I I'm still waiting for the day where I don't fit into all my really baggy pants just from having my legs, fully pumped up. So every lift, one step closer, one, tenth of an inch closer to that ultimate goal. Well, the goal of bigger legs at least. So that's all I got. Cardio in the morning, classes during the day. I'm sure I'll bring some snacks and maybe some. I might even meal prep a couple of things to eat in between. But legs later at night, and then just keep repeating the freaking process. So that's all I got. I'll freaking see you next time.